Welcome to EnVision Center News, where we discuss community impact and involvement with today's nonprofit leaders and philanthropists.
Well, welcome and thank you for joining me on the podcast. Excited to talk about all things summer theater camp. But before we get into the nitty-gritty and the details, let's just go down the line and each of you introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Tim Bangle.
Hi.
Well, who are you, Tim Bangle?
Oh.
Who are you, Tim
More
Bangle?
than your name.
Okay. Well, I am the new artistic director for LPO, Repertory Theater.
Awesome.
And I am Nikki Luttmann, and I'm on the board for LPO Repertory Theater.
And an actress.
And an actress, yes.
I'm Robb Talbot. I'm the executive director at the Panida Theater.
And so the Panida Theater and LPO Rep are coming together to put on a cool summer program. And what will that all entail for? And it's for kids. It's aimed at kids, right? What's the age range?
It is 8 to 17.
Okay, that's a pretty big,
Yes,
pretty
it
big
is.
age range. And how long is the camp?
3 weeks from 1 to 4 p.m. starting on July 21st.
And who's running this thing? Who's going to be because how it works is they're putting on a show, right? So in those 3 weeks, what are they learning in the process, and who's kind of guiding them and directing them through that?
I guess since everybody looked at me, I'll answer that question. Well, I think it's a pretty inclusive endeavor. They learn how to put together props and costumes and build set pieces and stuff while learning the blocking and the lines for the show. The woman who is directing it this year is named Liz Iha. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She is a fellow PCPA alumnus like myself from Santa Maria, California. And she's taken on the reins for the show this year. Three Musketeers.
And the Very Pretty Diamonds.
Very Pretty Diamonds is the show.
Is that a straight play, a musical?
It is a play, no
Okay.
music. It's a comedy. And the casting is actually going to be on the second day of camp. So first day, she's going to get the kiddos kind of situated and see how things are going to go, kind of give them some pointers on auditioning and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then day 2 is casting, and they will be doing cold reads for that.
Okay, so they don't have to. You don't have to prepare and memorize a monologue to
Correct.
sign up for camp. Okay,
Correct.
that's
They're
good
going to be
know.
prepared cold reads from the script itself.
Okay.
And Liz feels that's a really good way to do it, because then she can kind of get a feel for, the kid's personality in that play. So it'll be kind of fun for them to get to know the play that way.
Yeah, and is there a certain number for each age or grade that you're looking for? Because you need this many kids that are teenagers and this many kids that are younger, or is it just kind of first come, first serve who signs up?
It's just first come, first serve who signs up. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The signups are, you can either go through, I think our website directs them to the Panida, and the registration is through the Panida, and no experience necessary. And if some kids are not as comfortable being on stage, but they want to help with set design or costumes or other things, there's certainly lots for them to do also. So if there's, budding artists out there who want to have something to do this summer that maybe want to help with set pieces or have a flair for, fashion, they can also join us and have a really great time this summer.
Yeah, and Rob, do they get to learn or have access to at the Panida? Like, do you give them kind of a history lesson? Do they get to go up in the booth and, look at the light board or even operate it during the show? I'm not sure. Do you have adults doing that, or do the kids run the lights and stuff too?
So last year, I think the kids were part of all of that. So they
Okay.
ran the lights, they pulled the curtains.
Nice.
You get used to the green room and dressing rooms downstairs and side stage. They get a history lesson. They get to meet all of the staff and a lot of the volunteers at the Panida. We come down and introduce ourselves and kind of give them an idea of what we do. So it's a pretty broad spectrum, from everything from the obvious putting on taking on a piece and our part in the play and performing that, to working with lights and getting an introduction to the lights and the tech side and the backstage or even back end parts of what it takes to keep a theater running.
And is this a fundraiser for something? Like, what's the cost, and what are you hoping? Because it is a partnership, and I think POAC is part of it too. Is that correct? It's sort of a three-way partnership there.
Yeah, so POAC is a sponsor, and really, it's always good to have them involved as far as like helping advertise, get the word out, and being supportive of it as a sponsor. As far as the logistics and the ticketing and the finances, honestly, we're just trying to kind of make it all work and make it happen. We've tried to keep the price of admission for the campers really low, $150 for 3 weeks. At 3 hours a day is a lot cheaper than daycare.
Very reasonable, yeah.
And compared to other camps, it's very low. So we really wanted to make it accessible and be able to get as many kids and families into the space, and kind of as much of a community outreach and using the space at a time, quite honestly, when we wouldn't do much with it because of the festival. It's hard to put on too many events while the festival's going on because it competes too much, and so everybody's either there or not coming into town because town's too busy.
Yeah.
As far as it being a fundraiser, I mean, really, no.
Okay.
Like, we had previously, in previous years, gotten grants for a little bit more substantial sums, like, and to the tune of like $10,000. And this year, we are not operating with that kind of a budget. So
Okay.
we are doing the very best we can to get it to where we can basically just call it a wash.
Right. Yep. Which is
And
theater
that's
world,
Robb's
how it goes.
been
Yeah.
actually looking for community sponsors. If anybody really feels passionate about children and live theater, we'd love to talk to them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So in the past, we've had a $10,000 grant that helped make this possible. This year, that we have a grant from the Idaho Community Foundation for $4,000, which was very generous, and we're really excited to have that. And honestly, it made it possible financially.
right.
But it's definitely not. I wouldn't call it a fundraiser. It's
Sure.
more of a, something we're doing as nonprofits and a service to
Community outreach.
be a part of our community.
And so there's kind of two phases, right? We're trying to get people to sign your kiddos up, get them in the door and doing the camp. But then there is a show, like when we say that you're doing the Three Musketeers, it's a show. It'll be a
Correct.
ticketed show
Correct.
that people from the community, anybody, you don't have to have a kid on stage, right? Treat it like it's any other play. and
Right.
Be entertained.
Right. Last year, we did Alice in Wonderland, and it's not a long show. It's about 30 minutes, and this one will be about the same length. But it was really great. I mean, it was very entertaining, and it was well received
And
by
they're
the public.
well attended too.
Yeah, really well attended. Even especially, it surprised me. My daughter was in it. She was the Mad Hatter, and I was like, "Oh, it'll be a couple people, maybe me and some of the other parents." And it was almost a full house every day, and
Yeah,
it was very fun to see.
There are two performances. One's in
Yeah.
the evening. That's 6:30 on Friday the 8th this year, and then the other one's at 2:30 on Saturday the 9th.
Okay.
2:30 p.m. So you got a matinee and an evening show, and they were both over 200, 250.
Yeah, we did
Like,
really
it was,
well.
There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, it seems like, it's family friendly, and it's actually being a shorter show. If you're an adult, you might be like, that's not worth my money but if you've got littles, you're like, yes. About half hours is like all they
Yeah.
can take. We're in and out. So I'm sure a lot of families are like, thank you.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, I'm excited for this year's performance also. It's going to be very entertaining, I think.
How many years have y'all done this? Is this just the second year, or was it?
The educational program's done like 4. This will be the 4th, but 2 years directly connected to the Panida, I believe.
Yeah. It was 2 years, and then there was a break, and I think POAC was involved in those first 2 years.
Yep.
Correct.
And it was there was some classes at the Panida, there was some stuff at the Heartwood Center, and then kind of some stuff at POAC. But now we're kind of condensing it all and putting it all in the theater and giving it more of a permanent home.
I think that's really cool, and I hope that it continues for years and years. What goes into deciding what show you're going to do? How do you guys decide that?
We kind of scrambled this year with some changes at LPO and kind of last minute stuff with the Panida. And
The grant didn't come through until last minute, so we didn't really know that we were financially going to be able to do it.
Yeah. So we basically have LPO has a subscription service to a place that basically we can get free plays. So we utilized one of the free plays, and then I actually made some pretty substantial edits to it, and then Liz made some edits, and I think maybe Tim also made some
I
edits.
didn't make any edits.
Okay.
It was great by the time I got it.
I didn't make any edits either.
You didn't get your stamp on there.
Yeah.
Do they make, because it's short, is this like an organization that makes plays specifically for this kind of thing, like a camp where they know it's going to be lots of parts?
Well,
and shorter.
oddly, the play that we chose, it seemed like a really fun idea, and then we started reading this play, and there was a bunch of, for a child-centric play, there was a bunch of adult references, like they're out drinking and carousing and like weird jokes about lawyers and some other things, and I was like, well, we'll just edit it heavily, and that's what we did. But sometimes when you're looking at free opportunities like that, you can't be as picky. So that's why we just decided to go with that and then edit.
Yeah.
And next year, if we continue with this partnership, we'll have a little bit more time.
What do you mean if? Wait a minute.
When we continue with this partnership, we'll have some more time to maybe even buy some rights to something that might be a little bit more, user-friendly to start.
Yeah. Looked like you maybe had something to add.
Well, I was going to circle back and hopefully answer a little bit more of your question. Drama Notebook is the service, and a lot of teachers use that, like in drama classes in schools and stuff. You pay a subscription, and that subscription fee goes to covering the rights of the show. So that's why we chose that route as opposed to paying rights for a more
Right.
popular play.
Well, and like the Three Musketeers, I mean, maybe people might not know that exact play, but they know the Three
Right.
Musketeers, right? So I don't think you're going to
It's going to be a lot of fun, too. There's
Yeah.
some really good humor in it. And so we kept the humor and took out some of the more questionable taglines and stuff that they had in there. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have an old lady name. My name is actually Constance. Connie and Constance are both old lady names. And as you might know, there's a Constance
There
in
is.
the Three Musketeers. So
Yes.
as a kid, when I read it, I was like, a Constance, finally. There's never any Constances. So
She has
shout out
a
to
very
the
major part in this play.
Right. So whoever you cast as Constance, I'm going to have to give them a pat on the back. Like, you were the best part. And so you are building up this organization. Actually, I wanted to ask about the gal that's running. I think we should brag about her a little bit more, because if I'm not mistaken, she was in
Truvy.
Steel Magnolias, right?
Yes.
I
yes.
think her performance was one of the top 3 performances I've ever
She's
seen at the Panida.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more just about her background? You touched on it, Tim, but I think we need to
Yeah,
brag.
from her training standpoint, she went to the same school I did in California, which was kind of random. I've never met
is
anybody
random. I was gonna
outside of
ask,
school until moving back to Sandpoint, where I've met 3 people who were familiar with or have attended the school that I went to. So I can speak highly of her just from the education that she's gotten, because I know how involved and how hardcore it is.
And that was movie making that she was doing? or
No, it was
something
theater.
else?
It was.
But you did movie.
Well,
You did
I
theater?
went to the theater program as well,
Oh, okay,
but I
okay.
also have a degree in filmmaking as well. But
Okay.
And Liz's degree is actually in theater education. She taught at the music conservatory for a bit, and I had the privilege of seeing her. They did Fiddler on the Roof, and my daughter Hannah was in that play, and Liz was a phenomenal director, and the play was amazing. She just did a wonderful job. And then I also was very lucky to be in Steel Magnolias with her. And she's very talented and just one of those people that's just so energetic and always upbeat. And I think she's going to be a great asset for this program, but also LPO rep in the future.
Yeah. If her performance is anything like the professionalism and the energy and the talent, I mean, those kids are going to be in great hands. I've never worked with her, but I can just tell she's a rock star.
She is.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So it didn't take a ton of convincing to get her to hop on board.
She's been actually, I think, on board with LPO, just kind of waiting in the wings for something like this opportunity to come up for quite some time.
To my knowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And what would you tell somebody who's maybe hearing about this, but they are that nervous kid who's like, I'm not nervous to the point where I don't want to get on stage. I don't want to do lights. I don't want to learn about sound. I want to get on stage, but I'm just so scared and nervous. What would you tell them?
Use that energy. Just channel it. It's oftentimes those nerves are confused with excitement. So the kids that I work with often in film and in theater, that's what I use to coach them to channel that energy in a different direction in a positive way. It's excitement. It's not nerves. You're just super thrilled to be out there.
Yeah.
Having had a couple kids go through theater classes since they were very young, both my girls were very nervous about theater at first, but then they realized that they found their people. And I think that's another opportunity is we have a large community here in Sandpoint that's very supportive of the arts, but the arts community itself, especially when they start so young, is really pretty amazing and will welcome these new kids if they've not done it before with open arms, as you know. Like, it's a very welcoming community.
Rob, you've got littles. Are they gonna be hopping in?
My littles are a little too little.
Too little still? Okay. I wasn't sure if maybe your oldest would be ready yet.
No, a couple years away. I think he would want to, but a little too young still.
Are you planning on being a stage dad? Is that?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out when to take time to, eat right. So I'm not sure.
Think about
I'm
Kind of a blur.
Yes. Drinking from the fire hose still at times. In that position. I've been there almost 2 years now, so it's still a lot.
Yeah, 2 years as the director.
As the director, yeah. I've been on shows there for 6 years before that, but
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so cool. Is there anything, I guess, what's the can people sign up the day before if it's not full, or about, maybe you should say how many spots there are left, and then when the deadline is?
We still have a handful. I would, if you're wanting to do it, I would make it happen sooner than later. Deadline will be when it sells out, probably. There's a chance that we could extend it in. I don't know what I think we'd probably want to be done on the day that it starts, if there is any spots
left. Last year
left.
it filled up relatively early and we had a waiting list, so we're kind of prepared for that. I think it filled up about a week before and we had a waiting list, and a couple of the kids on the waiting list ended up being able to join because they had a couple kids fall through. So I would sign up sooner rather than later.
And are parents allowed to hang out and stick around while the camp is going, or is it drop your kid and go kind of thing?
They're allowed, but it's not really encouraged. We've found, especially in talking to previous directors over the years, it's much better for the kid to establish that independence early on. And if mom and dad are there, it's a lot harder for them to integrate into the program.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. I remember even teaching swimming lessons. If the parents were kind of hovering, it just affected the kids' ability.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's similar with a play, though. People with younger kids, 7, 8-year-olds, might be wanting to make sure they're stepping off right before maybe in those first couple of days of camp, that they get them settled in.
Yeah, we want to make sure the parents are comfortable too.
Yeah, for sure. And a meal is not part of this, right?
No, but last year what we did is we had the parents kind of organize snacks and water.
Okay.
And so that was really helpful, just especially in low blood sugar situations where kids are getting cranky or tired or what have you. But especially when it's hot, it's nice to have water and snacks on hand. So we'll coordinate that again this year.
Okay, cool.
Well, to be clear, there is AC in the building, so it still works for the most part. We are.
That's a conversation for the next podcast.
When we talk about the Panida, we'll talk more about the HVAC system, sure. But it's fine. It's fine for now.
Okay. I think this is such a cool program. I'm so glad it's here. I grew up with a summer theater program in my hometown that was really awesome and helped, basically kind of create a funnel for kids to keep doing that into adulthood. There's adults that started off at that summer program. So I think it's so important to be doing this, and I'm so glad that y'all are. Are there any other points that we need to make sure the folks know before we sign off here? We know it's 3 weeks. We know the show is at the beginning of August.
Yeah, 3 weeks starting again July 21st, and it's from 1 to 4 p.m. So it's right there, kind of after lunch, and we have 2 shows, August 8th and 9th. The one on Friday the 8th is at 6:30, and the other one is the one on Saturday is a matinee at 2:30. So, even if you don't have a kid in it, or maybe you have a kid that is interested for next year, like mine, we'll be coming in and checking out that one of those public shows, and that's a really good way. If you are excited that this is happening, but your kid can't go, and you still want to support this, that the tickets, all the tickets from that public show will go to help make sure that we can keep doing this and for years to come. So come out and support us. Come by and buy a ticket.
How much the tickets are?
We have not. We're not positive yet.
Okay. Still working. TBD on that.
Yeah. It'll be up. Should be up by the end of next. End of next week for sure.
Okay.
On the Panida website, it's panida.org/events.
Awesome, and then
That's where the sign up is also. So
Okay.
super important. Folks can sign up through the Panida's website. And if they have any questions, I think they could reach out via email.
Correct, yeah.
and or reach out to us here at LPO Rep too.
Okay, yep,
Yeah,
and
please
follow
do.
them both on social media to get all the, you're always posting links to signups and things there too. And I've seen some of the announcements about the camp. So
Yeah, if you have any questions about the camp, it's the best email for that at the Panida would be Panida Theater at panida.org.
Okay.
So again, the website's panida.org/events, and the email is panidatheater at panida.org.
all right, sounds great. I'm excited for y'all. I hope to be there for the actual show, and thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Connie?
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. For more information, you can go to crecIdaho.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again soon.